It is great to have you with us early on this Tuesday morning on our First Alert 6 streaming. I'm Erin Hartley.
And I'm Cerise Cole, along with meteorologist Jared Lansford, Senior Chief Meteorologist Rusty Lord. It was a foggy situation last night and early this morning for our commute, but you've got good news about that fog.
Yeah, the 3 to 4 to 5 o'clock window, it really moved east and thinned it out, so you don't have any of that to worry about this morning as you're getting up and getting going. So a lot better there. You can see you got crystal clear skies. You look off towards the east. The fog is heading towards Des Moines right now. Yeah, it moved east very quickly and thinned out. We're up to 31 now, the bit of a northwest breeze and 3 miles per hour. That's it. So the wind isn't going to be a huge issue this morning or even over much of the day. There's the visibility. All 10s across the board. That's what we like to see. The worst of it now, Des Moines, Mason City, Fort Dodge, Des Moines, up and down I-35. As it just gradually got better from west to east over the course of the very early morning hours today. So a lot of 30s right now. It did have a couple of 20s. Crescent and Omaha, the official reading at the airport, those have bumped back up to match the rest of the area a little bit better. So 34 to 35, that's where most of us are. And same stories you get outside the metro, a lot of 30s out there as of right now. You see this hazy, blurry area of gray here, that's the fog. And the blanket of low clouds that just keep going that direction. So we're going to have abundant sunshine today, and we'll take those numbers that are in the 30s now and start to warm them up. We're still 30s by 9, 40s by noon, and we're well into the 50s by 2 o'clock in many locations. You're going to be shortchanged a little bit on the Iowa side. You're still dealing with the last bits of the fog, and it's just overall going to be cooler there as the warmer air moves in from the west. So a high of 52 today should feel great. And better than yesterday when we got to 50, and we'll have more sunshine. By 7 o'clock, we're down to 40. There could be a little bit of fog that develops again in some river valleys tomorrow morning. I'm not too concerned about it, but you can see those little specks of gray there. That's a little bit of that trying to settle into maybe some of the usual spots, the very low-lying areas. But then we'll be able to get rid of that. And yeah, I got 60 in the forecast for tomorrow. I was tempted to bump that to 62 when I looked at some of the latest model data. So looking really good for Wednesday. Thursday brings some rain chances, so we'll watch for that. And you can see best odds are going to be south of I-80. Every model kind of bounces around on how far north the north edge can get. So I think it's afternoon and evening rain on Thursday. So you probably don't have too much to worry about until we get closer to lunch, and should stay warm enough to be rain.
Okay, look, we've been looking ahead to Friday all this week so far. Yeah. Of course, it is a first alert day, so what should people be prepared for?
And we talked about this a little bit yesterday. The closer we get, the more we're going to know. And that's the case today. We know a little bit more. The path's starting to come into agreement a little bit more with this. 39 degrees for the high. I think you're going to be waiting around a lot on Friday, and I'm probably going to hear, what snow? What's he talking about? He doesn't know what's going on. It's going to take a little while for this one to develop. 39 degrees will be the high, and then the temperature will start to cool down in the evening, and it's trending more towards evening and overnight snow. So accumulation is expected. Many of us right now, I'd say 3 inches or less. Good for most of the area. Some wind gusts and poor road conditions the deeper you go into the evening and overnight. So you can see how all the snow's to the west by 7 o'clock. Here comes the band of snow moving through. And this is what I mentioned in the agreements a little bit better. Model number 1 goes right there with the snow. And you look at model number 2 in the path, axis of it pretty similar. So that's what we look for. And then you talk about amounts. You can see there's a little bit more with this one. So this is what we'll be watching. Best odds for the heaviest snow probably near and south of I-80, as you can see here. A little less the farther north you go. This is going to bounce around still a little bit, but again, looking a little bit better than it did yesterday. So we'll keep the first alert weather day going. You got the rain Thursday, the snow potential on Friday still there. More evening and overnight stuff, long gone by the time you wake up Saturday. At least it won't be snowing. You'll have it to clean up. And then 40s on the way beyond that. We are rebounding quicker. Really short little cold burst. When I say cold, down near average. So we're above average. Yeah. Storm system drops us down to it, and then we bounce back again. That's pretty good for mid-January.
Just to where we're supposed to be, right?
Yep.
Not bad at all. Nope. All right, Rusty. Well, I can't say that about the traffic this morning. You can tell more school districts are going back to school today because they're a lot more people out on the roads and a lot more accidents.
Yeah, we've already had a few that have popped in here over the last 15, 20 minutes, and including some high traffic areas. So let's get right to what we're seeing. I-80 is where we're going to be starting with this first crash, and we've got several vehicles that are involved. We've got one that's in the traffic lane in this area. This is between 60th and 42nd as you're heading eastbound on I-80. So both shoulders are blocked. This was something that just came to light here. So that's in the middle lane. You can see all the debris that's scattered. You're really going to want to use caution as you're heading through this area. Be ready for delays. Emergency crews will be on hand here shortly, so we'll be getting some help with traffic control with this. But you can see how things are quite backed up as you're making your way all the way back past 72nd in the approach to that crash. So unfortunately, the alternate routes are a little complicated now at this point. You can use L if you can get down there. This is in an area where you don't really have a ton of work that's happening. If we were closer to 72nd, we would really be struggling with alternate routes. So if you can get to 72nd and go eastbound, or get to L, that will work as an alternate route. You can also use Center. It's not a great option, but that would be another way to avoid that area with that crash there on I-80. Keep it posted as more developments happen than that. We've also got some delays 30th Street as you're going through Florence. This is a crash that's happened right around Mormon Street, State Street in that area, and you can see the delays that are showing up in both directions near that area. So another spot to watch for emergency crews that will be working the scene of a crash. So already things busier than what we've been seeing over the last few weeks as we pick up that traffic load. Look at I-80. That's turning into a mess pretty quickly there as you're heading eastbound through that stretch. Be ready for all sorts of impacts as a result of that. Those delays will likely only grow. You've also got 370 that's a little slow around 48th heading westbound. That's not crash related, but you do have some delays that are showing up there. And then a couple of our busier intersections. You can see the yellow specks starting to reappear that we haven't had over the last few weeks with the traffic load. So things are definitely picking up. We'll continue to keep you posted with those crashes, particularly the I-80 one. That's going to be a big headache for us.
All right, Jared, thank you, though. A 61-year-old man, meantime, is in the hospital after he was hit by a car. Police say this happened near 31st and Ames. Police say the driver left the scene after hitting the man. At this point, we don't have a description of that vehicle. Make sure to keep it updated, though, as soon as we know more. Well, the NE Board of Regents are set to vote on a deal involving Clarkson Regional Health Services, and Nebraska Medicine plans to fight that move.
Now, in an exclusive interview, University President Dr. Jeffrey Gold told First Alert 6 Clarkson has the legal right to walk away from this partnership, and the university cannot stop them. Dr. Gold says the university would pay the $800 million total for Clarkson's half of Nebraska Medicine, as well as for land and buildings. The money would be financed through structured debt, letters of credit, and by monetizing real estate. The university would rent the land and buildings back to Nebraska Medicine or sell them to offset the debt.
It's not a state takeover. Nebraska Medicine is a 501c3, not-for-profit, dependent subsidiary of now two different entities, Clarkson Regional Health Services and the University of Nebraska. What is contemplating happening is one of those parent organizations has said, we're done. This is sort of like an amicable divorce, if you will. The custody of the children is going to remain.
On a website published in response to the proposal, Nebraska Medicine said, quote, the current structure is effective and protects taxpayers from government overreach.
All right, Cerise, thank you. Now over here at the safety desk with Maria Cade. Maria, flu cases in the U.S. are reaching the highest level they've seen, and get this, 25 years.
Yeah, really some pretty alarming numbers coming in, and it's impacting people all over the country, not just in one area. Right now, all but 4 states actually are at a very high or high level of flu activity, and experts say this is pretty much all because of one new flu strain. It's called subclade K, and that's the reason for all of those cases. It started to spread after strains were chosen for this year's flu shots, and experts say this means flu vaccines likely only offer a partial protection against that specific strain. There is some good news, though. The number of people who have been hospitalized for the flu is not very high. That's not standing out. But doctors' visits for those symptoms have not been as high as they are right now since 1997.
I don't know if you've been around in the grocery store, in the airport. I just feel like everybody
has something going on right now. It's going around.
All right, wash your hands, try to protect yourself as we can do. All right, Maria Cade, thank you. We're back after this.
Welcome back, everybody. Sure hope your Tuesday morning is getting off to a great start. It's a chilly start, but look at this sunrise. See how beautiful that is? That's just an indication of how nice today will be. Not just as soon as you walk out the door, but you just wait.
We got rid of the fog early, and now it's all about how high can we climb. So let's focus on where we're going here. Got a lot of 40s and 50s on the way in the forecast for today, so hope you get a chance to enjoy it. I think a lot of us near and west of the river will be well into the 50s and with more sunshine than yesterday. A little bit cooler off towards the east, and you can see where the fog is the worst. Up and down I-35, it just keeps marching east slowly, steadily, and we cleared it out very early this morning, and now not much of an issue. That's the little gray fuzzy areas you see here moving out, and just on the far eastern edge of our viewing area. So it's gone. Little sheen on some of the roads here. We're about 52 degrees for that afternoon high today, and you can see where quite a bit of sunshine is in play all day long. Even better tomorrow, mostly sunny and 60 for the high. Best day of the week easily lining up on Wednesday. Got some rain chances on Thursday to watch for. Here comes the showers in from the south and southwest. But you can see they move northeast and out pretty quickly. So it's something we'll watch afternoon and evening with some of the thickest clouds that are around, but probably the lesser of the 2 days to worry about. We still have the first Alert 6 weather day on the way for Friday. Seeing more and more agreement that we'll get some now evening snow. Took the rain chance out. I think it's going to start as snow as we go to 39 early. But the fact that the snow's not moving in till later means we'll cool down and likely be snow. And you're going to be waiting around a little bit for this. It'll take until the evening hours for this to move in. So there's one swath of snow. The path looking pretty consistent on today's run of models, showing it right through our area. Better odds of getting a heavier amount on the south side of I-80. So that's what we'll be tracking. I kind of march you through it here and some of the details. There's noon, and usually the leading edge of these take a little while to materialize. So I don't think we'll have snow actually falling by about 3 o'clock, but you can get an idea. We get closer to 7 and 8 after the sun is set, and this is what will be reaching the ground. Plus temperatures will be plenty cold enough that that will be sticking, and then it keeps moving to the northeast. So looking better and better as of today compared to yesterday, that we will get some snow out of this, and then early on Saturday, it is out of here. So it'll likely be done snowing by the time you wake up on Saturday, but there's still going to be some cleanup to do with a few inches of that on the ground. So I think we may get to that threshold where we get enough snow. We need to bring out the plows with this one. So right now I'd say 3 inches or less for most of the area. Haven't made an official forecast map. That's just kind of the way the data is looking as we take a look at this one here on Tuesday morning.
Now, we can already see the early indications, of course, for Saturday. So is there any chance those kind of 30s last into the weekend?
Usually when you get a cold blast like this, it sticks around a couple of days. I tell you what, we're going to rebound quickly. I thought this would have a little more staying power. Not the case. We dip down in the 30s, get a cold night Saturday night after we clear out, and then we rebound again, back up into the 40s. Now, this little pattern here, I wouldn't be surprised if we tried to do it again the following weekend. Maybe a Friday, Saturday, Sunday thing with temperatures like that. So we'll see maybe if that one has a little more staying power. But this one definitely doesn't. We're going to be 30s for a couple of days. Sunday looks like it'll rebound pretty nicely. And yeah, we'll just keep an eye and see how much snow is on the way Friday.
All right. We know you're on it, Rusty.
All the time.
Jared is also on it. I-80 is looking a mess right now.
Yeah, it's not going to be fun if you have to travel through that stretch. It's eastbound between 60th and 42nd. And as you're looking here, you can see how much those delays in the oranges and the reds go all the way back past 72nd. We've got a few lanes that are restricted with this. So it's right here in the on the right-hand side here where you're looking at. So you've got the left shoulder. Traffic is trying to squeeze through in between the closed lanes. I would just stay right in this area instead of trying to do that, because you do have a center lane there that's also blocked. And you can see how all the way, as far as you could see, those delays stretch. So also getting quite a bit of brake lights now showing up westbound there as you're getting closer to 60th and 72nd. So unclear what that's about. So 80's a mess. It's kind of the theme here, with the delays now starting to get close to the 680 interchange at this point. Alternate routes get weird at this point with the construction that's happening around 72nd and L. That's not a good alternate route anymore. So you can use Center. Dodge, if you want to go up that far, would be another one to consider using to avoid what's going on here on I-80, because this is going to take you quite some time to make your way through that stretch. Don't want to forget this one. We also have a crash in Florence. This is 30th, right around Mormon Street. That's just south of State Street, with some delays that are showing up there as well. So if you're traveling Highway 75 up towards 680, you may run into that one in that stretch. But you see how much those delays are really standing out on I-80. Dodge starting to flare up now eastbound as you're making your way through the expressway back toward 144th. That's not unusual for a busy, normal commute that we would be seeing. We'll continue to track this, keep you posted on the latest with that I-80 crash and anything else as the morning goes on.
Busy commute for sure, Jared. Thank you. Well, some changes to the CDC vaccination guidance have left many parents wondering whether they should continue getting all recommended vaccines for their kids.
Dr. Mark Rupp from Nebraska Medicine says the answer is clear: yes, to continue to get all vaccines. Dr. Rupp says that many doctors are concerned. He believes the current administration is making a mistake. For a full list of the vaccines the CDC has now pulled from its recommendations list, head over to our website on this story, firstalert6.com. Stay with us. We're back after this. On New This Morning, there was something a little bit different on the menu for elephants and some of their fellow residents at the Berlin Zoo: Christmas trees.
Yeah, the treats were unveiled at the zoo yesterday in what has become an annual event. Pandas played with the pine branches while snacking from the fruits hanging from them. It's always fun to watch the pandas, right? Elephants tore off branches with their trunks, eating the greenery or lobbing it around their enclosure. The zoo's Siberian ibexes, is that what they're called? Munch the greenery. The zoos take only fresh, unsold trees from selected vendors. So they're very selective about the trees they take, but the animals don't care. They love them regardless.
Nom, nom,
They're feeding each
They're
other.
like, give me some.
The finest spruce and pine available.
Yeah.
I could watch them play around like that all day.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't the zoo one of the drop-off spots for your used Christmas trees too? Like, so they do something with it. I know the zoo does the stuff with like branches during storm damage and stuff. Say bring it in.
Yeah, I did a story on that. They repurpose, especially during storms too, all of that old trees, branches, leaves, everything that falls off, and then they can turn that into food for the animals and actually keep it for a really long time, quite a few months too.
Cool. All right. Well, Maria, thank you for that insight. And thank you for joining us today. We're going to get ready for our update in the Today Show. Of course, you can watch it here on streaming or over our air.
Have a great start to your Tuesday.
Live from WOWT, First Alert 6 starts now.
Well, good morning, everybody. It is 7:26. I'm Cerise Cole.
And I'm Aaron Harley. Let's get an update on the forecast and the roads with Jared first.
And I-80 is a mess after a crash that we have that's blocking a few lanes as you're going eastbound. This is as you're approaching 42nd. You can see the red extends all the way back past 72nd for near standstill traffic like you're seeing on this view. Crash there is in the distance. You've got the left side blocked. You need to stay right as you're heading through this area, but leave plenty of time. Alternate routes get a little tricky with some of that ongoing construction at 72nd and L. You can use center. Dodge is probably the best option. I know that's a little ways out of your way, but it's going to be better than trying to make your way through that stretch on I-80. We also have a crash 30th and Mormon Street just south of State and Florence. Watch for that one to cause some delays there as well. Rusty.
Thanks, Jared. We had some fog around last night. We have been able to push that to the east. You can see the last of the near zero visibility, Atlantic and Clarinda and farther east. So that's gotten better. It'll continue to improve in our far eastern counties. You got a beautiful sunrise here as we're enjoying the day. 31 degrees, feels like 31, which is awesome. And the wind gusts out of the north-northwest today, up near 15 miles per hour, maybe a couple near 20. Should be the worst of it. So we're looking at 38 for the 10 o'clock temperature, 45 at noon, and 52 for the high today. But that comes with more sunshine than what we had yesterday. That'll feel great. 60 for the high on Wednesday, 45 on Thursday with some rain and clouds. Friday still a First Alert 6 weather day with the snow now trending more towards the evening. Aaron?
Well, a 61-year-old man is in the hospital after he was hit by a car near 31st and Ames. Police say the driver left the scene after hitting that man. At this point, we don't have a description of that suspect car.
It is 7:28. We're back with another update for you in about 25 minutes. See you then.